So we'll commence the meeting. Thank you all for joining. Namaskar. On behalf of the Chanakya University, I, Dr. Chetan Singh Rai, extend a very warm welcome to the distinguished members of the International Advisory Council who are present here with us, and for those who are joining us online, the members of the Board of Governors and special invitees, the leadership team, and my colleagues at the Chanakya University to this second International Advisory Council meeting, the very first on this global campus. Thank you. I take this opportunity to acknowledge and appreciate the vision and commitment of the leaders and the core team at the Chanakya University for this wonderful campus, providing a conducive ecosystem for teaching, learning, research, and service to the entire community at Chanakya University. The first International Advisory Council meeting was held on November 19, 2022. The meeting was chaired by Dr. K. Kasturanganji. Due to unexpected health situation, Sir could not join us today. However, he has personally conveyed his warm regards and best wishes for the meeting and its outcomes. In his absence, Professor Bhimrai Maitri Sir has agreed to chair today's meeting. Welcome, sir. In the first International Advisory Committee meeting, we had received insightful inputs from the distinguished members on various aspects ranging from liberal education, faculty development, Indian knowledge system, research publication, citation pedagogy, governance and leadership. Professor Dongre, our Vice Chancellor, shall elaborate on these in his presentation. It is truly an honor to have such esteemed individuals gathered here today to lend their expertise and guidance to the Chanakya University and its vision. It is my pleasure to once again welcome and briefly introduce our distinguished members. Shri Sitaram Jindalji, who is amidst us today, is the Chairman and Managing Director of Jindal Aluminium Limited. He holds a doctorate degree in naturopathy and established the famous Jindal Nature Institute in Bengaluru. Jindal Aluminium Limited is India's largest aluminium extrusion company with a legacy spanning 50 years. The Jindal Aluminium Limited is also a pioneer in renewable energy, working in areas of wind energy and solar energy. I take this moment to extend heartiest congratulations on behalf of Chanakya University and all the members here to Sir for being bestowed with and conferred with Padma Bhushan for his outstanding contribution to the field of naturopathy and philanthropy. Thank you, sir. Namaste. Welcome, sir. Shri Sajjan Jindalji, who is amidst us now, is the chairman of JSW Group. Under his leadership, the JSW Group has led India's steel sector into a new era. The JSW operates in the area of industries of steel, energy, cement, and infrastructure. His vision led to the establishment of integrated steel plant, JSW's Vijayanagar Works in Karnataka. Famously known as the Man of Steel, Sri Sajjan Jindalji is an entrepreneur and an accomplished business leader. The JSW Foundation, under his leadership, has empowered rural communities for 3 decades through education, health, skill development, promotion of art and heritage. Sir has been awarded with the prestigious E&Y Entrepreneur of the Year in 2022. Welcome, sir. Professor Bhimrai Maitriji, Director currently at IIM Nagpur, is a distinguished academician, renowned teacher, researcher, and institute administrator. An outstanding leader of management education, he has performed key leadership roles at many premier management institutes and corporate in his remarkable career. Dr. Maitri is former director of IIM Tiruchirappalli, which was one of his experiments that he has done a lot of innovations there. Dr. Maitri is the only serving IIM director to receive the country's prestigious IMA Keval Nohria Award for Academic Leadership in Management Education. Welcome, sir. Dr. Chandra Prakash Dwivedi ji, a Padma Shri awardee, who is amidst us, actor, director, and historian. He has recently, yesterday, interacted with our students, and I'm sure he had got a glimpse of Chanakya University. In fact, students are now expressing their concern that how fortunate and happy they were to be meeting the Chanakya at Chanakya University. Welcome, sir. Shri Manish Sabharwal ji, who is the Vice Chairman of Team Lead Services, who is on a mission to revolutionize skill development and vocational education in India, is amidst us. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Shri Prakash Belvadi ji, who is here next to you. Welcome, sir. Indian theatre personality, and he has been conferred with Pratibha Bhushan Award by Government of Karnataka and is a recipient of Karnataka Nataka Academy, Pride of Karnataka by Bangalore Roundtable, and more importantly, he has been proactively contributing to Citizens for Bangalore, which is actually what we always tend to look forward to sir's contribution towards our civil society and life. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Shri Harish Bijurji is a brand thinker and practitioner operating out of Bangalore in India. He runs a unique boutique consulting outfit branded Harish Bijur Consultants INC. He has been teaching at Indian School of Business for the past 15 years and has actively involved in research in relating to rural consumer behavior, rural retail networks, and trade mechanisms at play. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Welcome. Shri Riki KG, who is also now being also very popular amongst the youth in the country, three-time Grammy Award winner, US Billboard #1 artist and United Nations ambassador, and GQ Hero 2020, a role model for many young artists in India, sir, and in the globe. Thank you for joining us. Professor Kapil Kapoorji, who has joined us online, former professor of English, Center for Linguistics and English, and concurrent professor, Center for Sanskrit Studies, JNU, New Delhi. He was Dean of School of Language, Literature and Cultural Studies. Sir has been conferred with Padma Bhushan Award for his outstanding contribution in the field of literature and education. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. Professor Subhash Garg ji will be joining us in a few minutes. He has also been conferred with Padma Shri for his contribution in the field of mathematics, science and astronomy. Shri Hari Kiran Vadlamani ji, thank you for joining us online. He is an entrepreneur, seeker, activist and aspiring artist, deeply passionate about art, philosophy, Indology. He has set up foundations apart from Advaita Academy and for pursuing many such passions that he has. Thank you for joining us, sir, for this meeting. I also extend my warm welcome to Professor Bhushan Patwardhan ji for joining us online amidst his travel and other commitments. We have popularly known him as professor in the field of various allied areas in terms of application oriented. Especially his role as Vice Chairman UGC has also been acknowledged and continue to guide us at Chanakya University. Thank you, sir, for joining us online. And I now extend my heartful welcome to our esteemed members of the Board of Governors, Shri Mohandas Pai ji, Padma Shri for distinguished service in the field of governance, industry and philanthropy. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Justice A.V. Chandrasekhar, sir, who is known as one of those popular jurists in the state, who has also been very much engaged in the field of legal education also and practice in Karnataka as being the judge of the High Court in Karnataka. Thank you, sir, for joining. Professor Mahadevan ji is a professor of operations management at the Indian Institute of Management, Bengaluru. For the last 3.5 decades, he has been engaged in the field of teaching and research. And also, Professor Mahadevan's research interests include researching the possibility of using ancient Indian wisdom to address contemporary concerns, spirituality in the workplace and management paradigms from Bhagavad Gita. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Professor L. Gomati Devi ji will be joining us soon, one of our distinguished members. And I also take this opportunity to acknowledge the presence of Shri Abhay Jain ji, Advisor Group, Corporate and Affairs, Manipal Education, Medical Group, and member of Board of Jain University and member of Governing Board of IIM Bangalore. Thank you, sir, for joining us. And with the permission of the Chair, I also extend a warm welcome to our Chancellor, Pro-Chancellor and Vice-Chancellor. And with heartfelt and deep gratitude, I also want to acknowledge our Chancellor for being confirmed with Padma Shri for his contribution to education and literature. And our Chief Operating Officer, Shri Nagaraj Reddy ji, who is amidst us. I would like to request our colleagues to introduce briefly about yourself to our distinguished members here. Over to Professor Ashok, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. everyone. I'm Ashwin. I'm a professor with the School of Arts. I'm also the Dean of Academic Affairs in the university.
Yeah, Professor Yogananda, Dean of School of Mathematics and Natural Sciences. I was involved with the training and selection of the Indian team to the International Maths Olympiads for 15 years.
Good afternoon, this is Sushant Joshi. I am Associate Professor in the School of Commerce and Management, and I am taking care as the registrar also.
We are unable to hear clearly. Can you please?
Sir, please use the mic when you're speaking because it's been connected. Yes, sir, we are going to correct that. Yeah, Professor Anil.
Good afternoon. I am Dr. Anil Kumar Garag. I am a professor in School of Commerce and Management and in charge dean too. Thank you.
Sir, we have our colleagues in the back. Dr. Vinay Chandra, please.
Namaste, this is Dr. Vinay Chandra Banavati. I head the Center for Indian Knowledge Systems at Chanakya University.
Namaskaram, Sandeep Nair. I am part of the School of Commerce and Management and in charge of as Registrar of Assessments Evaluation. Thank you.
Namaste, Rajesh Harchami, Associate Professor. I teach Media Studies in the School of Arts, Humanities and Social Sciences.
Namaste, I am Bharat from School of Mathematics and Natural Sciences.
Namaste, my name is Priyanka Dwivedi and I teach Sociology in School of Arts, Humanities and Social Sciences. Thank you.
Thank you. May I now request Professor Maitri sir to share his initial remarks to set the context for today's meeting.
Very good afternoon, distinguished International Advisory Committee members and our special invitees Sajjan Jindal ji, Sitaram Jindal ji, and all the distinguished members. I welcome second International Advisory Council meeting, and as Chetan already told, it was first meeting was held and lot of discussions, fruitful discussions we have made, and today we are going to have this meeting. We are going to discuss three important agenda items in this. One is about holistic education, second is about research, and third is how to build the culture at Chanakya University. These are the important topics we are going to discuss, and IAC is going to provide the guidance, direction as well as advice for Chanakya University to move to the next orbit. And already it has transformed last meeting to this meeting, so we have seen the total transformation in the new campus, and just we have made the visit. I am sure your guidance and advice definitely is going to help the university to move to the next orbit. I welcome all of you, and I request Vice Chancellor to make a small presentation.
Very good afternoon. I am very happy to give a very brief overview of what happened between the first meeting of the International Advisory Committee and the second. Now, part of this is going to be a repetition for our members, esteemed members of the Board of Governors, because we kept reporting to them every quarter, but otherwise for most of the others, we thought it's important that we just let you know what we have done so far and how we tried to address some of the suggestions that you gave us in the first meeting, so that we will be able to take up further discussion on the related matters. I just begin very quickly with this because we have very seriously taken note of the purpose of the university and the values of the university. We have been stressing that we have to address this purpose and live the values. There's been a lot of discussion going on about that. All the staff, faculty as well as the staff, have been made aware of these issues. We must have had half a dozen kind of interactions with all of them, particularly on our values of integrity, humanism, creativity, team spirit and academic freedom. So we are trying to imbue those elements. Moving forward, we thought this is going to be extremely important. There were 5 important areas on which the first meeting had dwelled upon. I am not going into all the details, these were circulated to all the members, but just to draw upon some of those key elements. The first meeting was more of exploring what are all the important things that as a university should we be doing So there was a lot of discussion about liberal education, mainly because we started saying that we want to follow the national education policy, where this framework of education was extremely important. So there was a suggestion that Chanakya should implement liberal education in such a way that we really fill the gaps in higher education, and then enhance number of courses and choice for the students to study, and develop various exchange programs across institutions so that our students study not only here but also go and study elsewhere. Also, there was a fair amount of discussions on Indian knowledge system. It's one area where we keep discussing a lot, and there were suggestions that research should be the main focus when it comes to IKS, and we have to provide space and guidance for greater interaction across faculty. Even today in the BOG, our discussion was how do we really do this and explore the civilizational wisdom for addressing contemporary challenges. These were the suggestions that came. Research was another area where a lot of focus was given by all the honorable members. How do we ensure that we do the high quality research, and how do we bring in our research outputs into our teaching and curriculum, and also effort should be made by Chanakya that we get highly skilled retired people in, so that it's also possible for us to pursue the research agenda. With regard to faculty, there were suggestions that we should try to get the best faculty, and we should put the policies in place in such a way that it becomes attractive. We need to incentivize faculty for that, and also how do we develop a career path for our faculty. We have tried to address most of these things. Also about the governance and leadership, the quality of people, how do we enhance the quality of people, and how we separate the administration from academics, and the autonomy at every level and transparency at every level is maintained. That was an idea that had come up, and hopefully we have fairly addressed all these elements. What I'll do is I'll quickly take you through some of the important categories of information on what we have done, and then I would be requesting the chair to take us to the agenda of the day. You all have seen today already that when we had the first meeting, we were in a rented building. Now we have moved to this campus in September, and this academic year we have started practically in this academic year. So this block where we are sitting, the administrative block is ready. This also has the academic wings which can house 1,350 students, and the hostel block, which was formally inaugurated today, it houses 750 students. 300 plus students are already living in this hostel. The food court, which again was inaugurated today, it can take 3,000 students at a time, and in the first week of March this will be open for the students, and they will start using it. The academic block which is coming up, which we hope will be ready by July of this year, and new schools that will come will be moving here, and this block has a capacity of 3,650 students, which means with one more hostel coming up, we will be good to accommodate some 5,000 students in the campus. The other two blocks which are now under construction is one is a residential for faculty and staff, other one is the guest house. So this will give us the minimum infrastructure required for 5,000 students plus the staff. The sports facility, of course, you have seen today how the cricket ground has come up. We have a cricket ground ready, we have the basketball and the tennis court ready. We also will soon have the 400-meter track coming up. This is about the physical infrastructure. And then with regard to the students, as we were reporting today, we started the year 22-23. We started, of course, a bit late. So we started with 89 undergraduate students and 18 master's students with 107 number. And this year we have 283 undergraduate, 136 masters, 9 PhD and 15 students in the fellowship program. So we are 443, and admissions still not over because there is a centralized admission that Karnataka government would send us the students, and there will be another 30 likely to join. 24-25 our target is a minimum of 750 undergraduate, 250 masters, about 20 doctoral students, and our fellowship program definitely we'll have about 50. So it will be anything between 1000 to 1200 is what we are expecting for our 24-25 academic year. This is a distribution of these 4 students across schools. There is a variation across the schools depending on the programs. The total is 443. We have a system of taking our students. There is an online link available for the students. They will apply. They can just come to our website and apply. And they are all taken through what we call as a Chanakya University Pravesh Pariksha. And they have to score a minimum marks here to go to the next level of the personal interview. We have a lot of emphasis on the interview because we really want to gauge the students not so much in terms of the domain knowledge, but very much in terms of the learning aptitude and whether they can really pick up and do, and whether they have that kind of an inclination. And then we offer the provisional letter and the student enrollment takes place. We very religiously follow this process when it comes to taking up the students. Currently, we have students from 27 states and union territories, 443 students. Of course, 50% come from Karnataka, the other 50 from all over India. We also have instituted a Chanakya Fellowship Scholarship to our students. This goes through a separate process of selection. They will be writing a scholarship test, and upon getting through that test, there will be an in-depth interview. There will be also a background check to make sure that they are highly deserving. We call it merit cum means scholarship. And those who are deserving also, so because of socio-economic conditions as well as merit, they will be awarded this scholarship. This covers entire tuition fee as well as their living expenses. And we are getting such scholarship through support from donors. So there are about 46 students now, nearly 10% of our students, and we want to keep it up because there are a lot of students coming from different parts of the country who are really in need of this kind of a support. So we can really reach out and make the deserving students get the best education. They can't afford paying that kind of a fee. I think we need to put in this kind of a place. There is, scholarship, and there is a lot of emphasis on this. Our schools and programs, we started with 3 schools and started with about 10 programs. And then we started the School of Law, Public Policy and Governance last year. And then we started School of Biosciences, which has just come in. So we will be moving on to School of Engineering next year. That will start. Down the line, of course, we really want to also move towards health sciences. There is also School of Performing Arts, which is now being conceived. Of course, 2 of them who have worked on that, Prakash Belwadi and Ricky Cage, are here. They have given us a blueprint, and hopefully by 24-25, we should be starting some programs even in that domain. This is currently our plan. We don't have separate departments, but schools will be the larger umbrella units under which different disciplines will come together and different programs will come together. That's the basic architecture for the schools. For every school, we have tried to put in a distinguished advisory committee, irrespective of whether it is arts, commerce, science, whichever is the one. School of Biosciences is a new school which has just come up. This school is supported by Dr. Kiran Majumdar Shah, and she is taking care of the all operational costs of putting this school. The laboratories have already started coming up. 2 labs have already come up. 3 faculty are on board, and this will be operational next academic year. So we have a advisory committee headed by Professor H.S. Subramania, and then the other experts in the field. So they would help us in really putting the programs in place. Same thing we have done in case of our School of Engineering. We have a committee headed by Professor Mahesh of IIT Madras. Then we have other members like Professor Narahari from Indian Institute of Science and Avinash Agarwal. So we have a host of people from IIT and the Indian Institute of Science who are guiding us in conceiving the programs on engineering. The School of Commerce and Management, which houses one of the largest group of students with BBA, BCom, MBA, these kinds of programs. It also has a international advisory committee. All people coming from some of the best institutions are guiding the school. Chanakya Fellowship is a program which we started last year. Now there are 15 students in that. We really wanted to pitch social sciences at a fairly high level. We may not be able to do that with a regular BA program or an MA program. Whereas the Chanakya Fellowship, which actually prepares people for policy making, which gives them a very good exposure in terms of both policy making and devising a career path, as well as choosing to study at the best universities in the world. So we are trying to catch such kind of students, and therefore this is designed as a 10-month fellowship program, and the students who successfully complete this will get a diploma, postgraduate diploma in social sciences. 50% of the faculty for this are drawn from different parts of the world, so they are all coming and teaching here. The other 50% we are getting faculty from within India, including Chanakya faculty. Our programs, we have a range of programs, and the ones that are highlighted are the programs that we will be starting next year. Basically, our idea is that we have a very high focus on our undergraduate program. Majority of our students are at that level. It's a 4-year program, and we take them through a process of learning where we really want them to achieve all the graduate attributes that are required to be a good graduate. The academic framework is designed keeping that in mind. So all the programs have these elements built into it. There is lot of flexibility and choice, multidisciplinarity in most of the programs. Wherever there is a possibility, that is being done. Outcome based learning and assessment. Our assessments are continuous. We are not having an assessment that is done only by end of a semester or end of the year. It's a continuous assessment. We are trying to make learning holistic. Lot of learning takes place on problem solving methods and case study methods and those kinds of things. And we have kept all essential graduate attributes in mind. Of course, without losing that idea that every student have a firm footing in our own country, understand India better, imbue Indian values, culture within themselves. So this is how it's being structured. Therefore, most of our programs have this kind of a model. There is one set which we call Chanakya Foundation. All our students undergo set of courses which are skill based, value based. So there is a certain number of credit that everybody will do under Chanakya Foundation. Then there is something called beyond the classroom learning. We want students to also learn, which we call as experiential learning. So it's not just internship. There is community engagement, there is seva, and all kinds of experiential learning. Students will discuss with faculty will advise them on how they actually move forward and learn. So we have certain number of credit earmarked for, especially for that kind of experience based learning. And then of course there are majors and minors and those kind of activities like open electives, all of them will come into the picture. The learning process is mostly we begin with facilitating learning program. Students really need a lot of preparation to move towards certain levels, and then the assessments are curated also based on how the students express the knowledge that they have acquired. So we have different kinds of assessments designed for that, and at certain levels even the assessments are kind of a choice based. That means if someone prefers an oral assessment, that is done. Someone prefers a written assessment, that will be done. So this kind of an assessment pattern is being curated, and then we take them to this particular process of learning. Hopefully these are the areas where we will need definitely more guidance and solutions, because this is a kind of thing that a conventional university is not doing. We want to do this kind, take students into this kind of learning process. There is a lot of emphasis on research. We have been telling all our faculty that all the faculty necessarily should engage both in teaching and research. The degree may vary, and that gets exemplified by some of these facts that in year 1 itself our faculty have started showing the result. We have about 52 faculty now. That includes faculty of different levels, and this group of faculty in about 1 year and 3 months have managed to get 11 externally funded research projects, and total grant mobilized was 1.59 crores. They have published about 21 papers in the most reputed journals, and made some 54 presentations. We have also organized 2 international conferences, which are going to be, the proceedings of that is going to be published. One on Indian knowledge system, the other one on Chanakya and Arthashastra. There is one more international conference coming up next month, which is on temple management. So these are details of the different research projects that we have acquired. I am not going to all those details, but if there are questions at any point in time, I will be happy to answer them. As part of our research initiative, we thought that we need to also have institutions more focused on research other than our regular schools. So there is an attempt from the university to set up chairs and centers of excellence, because all of them will have high research focus. Already Dr. Ramdas Pai chair on education is in place. Activities have started under this. There is chair on international relations, which has been approved. Soon this chair is going to be operationalized. The Center for Indian Knowledge System is working for the last 2 years, and there's some very good focused research going on in this center, not just on philosophical aspects, but on astronomy, on mathematics, on psychology, on some of these areas. We have a Center for Study of Cultures, which again is into research on cultural dimensions. Center of Sustainability is now approved, and we are going to start the Center of Excellence. Mr. Prashant Prakash and team are helping us to put this particular center in place. Yeah, there have been a lot of events at Chanakya. I think many of these we have circulated to many of you through Ascent, which is our quarterly magazine. So I am not going into the details. Distinguished lecture series is a very important public event that we have started. We invite distinguished people and arrange public lectures. 6 such lectures have been already done. These were the 6. There have been a lot of dignitaries visiting us, industrialists and academicians from across the world, and interacting with our faculty and students. We had Satish Reddy, former scientific advisor, Mohan Gupta, former senior advisor. University of Durham was here, and they have shown keen interest in tying up with us in areas of education and social sciences.
Sir, with your kind permission, can you have the presentation emailed to us?
Yeah, sure.
Because
sure.
it's not very clear.
Yeah.
It's not very clear, so that I can go through it as you speak.
Sure. We'll send a whole slide. I'm only trying to save time for discussion. So the international conference. We also had a round table on Bharatiya Shastra. There was a wonderful program that was done. Our faculty was the main avadhani, which our students, many of them have experienced it for the first time and liked very much. Yeah, this was the first day on the campus, September 4th, when we moved here and started our activities. Thank you very much. This is very brief. If there is anything on which questions are there, I will answer. I would now request the chair to kindly take over for the agenda of the day.
So thank you very much, Professor Dongre, and let us, on behalf of International Advisory Council, give a big hand for the progress and great achievement to the Chanakya University Chancellor, Pro-Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, entire leadership team and faculty members.
We'll have the agenda on the screen, and also hard copy has been circulated in your folders, the agenda points for your reference. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, so now let us begin with agenda 4, the the focus area is enabling holistic learning at Chanakya University. As all of you know, the purpose of university is creating knowledge and transformative leaders for holistic development, and university has already started offering many choices and flexibility, and all of you know today rigidity is stupidity, and a lot of flexibility is the need of an hour. And as a part of NEP 2020, Chanakya University already initiated multidisciplinary courses and programs which already Vice Chancellor has shown to us, with an emphasis on liberal education as well as focusing on Indian ethos. So these courses also integrated with experiential learning with emphasis on formative assessment. So now this particular topic, for the purpose of further enhancing, the learners are facilitated by the mentor-mentee program, which is very beneficial for both the side, reverse learning as well as experiential learning. In this regard, now I request all the distinguished members to focus on some of the pointed lead questions we have developed. And in this area, the first question is, how should the university integrate interdisciplinary learning and real world applications into curriculum to provide a holistic learning experience? So these are the 5 questions we have identified. So with reference to first question, so I'd like okay. So, and the second one is, what are the effective teaching methods that university to accommodate diverse learning styles and foster critical thinking, creativity, problem solving skills? Third one is, what comprehensive support services should the university provide to address students' academic, emotional and mental health needs, which is need of an hour in today's context since COVID-19. Now, next question is, what initiative should the university to take to develop leadership skills, communication skills, teamwork and other soft skills crucial for personal and professional success amongst the learners? And the last lead question is, what are the key initiatives to ensure civic engagement among the students to instill sense of civic responsibility and an understanding of the broader societal context? So these are the 5 questions broadly we have framed. So now I request distinguished members, give your directions, advice, suggestions with reference to this.
These questions came as part of our experience of trying to do something, so we have put it. Not that we are trying to say that we have answered these questions, but the idea of holistic learning, making a young learner realize that molding one's personality is extremely important, not just acquiring some skill. So this is an endeavor which we have to do. We have experienced some challenges, therefore we have just put it. You can please go beyond that.
May I offer a view on this? My total view on holistic learning and teaching is that it's a process which happens by accident and doesn't necessarily happen by design. In the sense that in-room class learning is one, which every institution offers, and then right outside it is what happens outside the classroom. And I think what happens outside the classroom is that much more important than what happens in the classroom. So, while simultaneously I say that it's not by design, I would say that creation of spaces for that kind of experiential learning is important. And I think the only thing that one can do top down is facilitate those kind of spaces. Because if you make spaces, those spaces will get filled. And they will get filled hopefully by discussion, by debate, by challenge, the process of challenge. So when I look around at the infrastructure, which I've only seen on paper right from the start, but I'm sure I'll get the opportunity to go and peep in. But I find that it's extremely important to create spaces which are different than what someone else offers. So could we put a little bit of thinking in that? Because if I'm designing a tech office, let's go to Google out here, and let's say Bengaluru Google. There's a lot of thinking in terms of the way you put that office together. because you want a lot of space. Work-life balance is about spending about 10 hours at work, but those 10 hours must also have work life in between. So how do you create spaces for life? So here I'm saying, can we create spaces for learning, experiential learning, exponential learning, challenge, debate, and stuff like that. So some thinking on that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
Please forgive me, my voice is gone. I'm going to struggle to speak. And I may be overlapping into many questions here. I made just 4 points here to do. Sorry. The first is, beyond classroom, what Harish is just referring to. I'll give you 4 examples that I made note of. When COVID was there, at Dharavi, they did some Siddhi medicine, Kabasura Kudini, they called it. And miraculously, Dharavi was, in terms of density of infected patients, it didn't spread at all, as it spread in the rest of Maharashtra, certainly in Mumbai city. That is the kind of thing which is accidental to jump in, and multidisciplinary research can be done, which is opportunistic research thing, and you publish a paper and there is very good learning. In Bangalore itself, Bangalore Medical College had a committee to approve drugs. In allopathy, every drug, eventually Lancet said even remdesivir was harmful. Okay, every drug was tried. But when the Ayurvedic drug came from, Kajay, there was a committee that was supposed to sanction it. I'm telling you, I met a member, I won't name him, from the committee, who is in our social circle. He was prejudged on that. He was saying that we will see to it that he doesn't get approval. And the first opportunity they got, they didn't do. Now that's an opportunity to jump, do research and publish a paper, because if you must create resistance to prejudice, you must do it with knowledge. And knowledge should be rigorous. So that is one of the things that we can look at. The other 2 examples I have is that why is for the 7th time Indore the cleanest city of India? There should be a workshop perhaps to find out why it happened. So if you have students in social science, and probably again it's a multidisciplinary field, how did that happen? I'll finish quickly because I got all the notes. So see, that is one of the things. And I just have read somewhere that Gurgaon has got a 2050 plan for net zero. I don't know how they will achieve it, whether they will achieve it, but it's a good thought, and if we can workshop this. So one of the ways of doing this is to create properties on campus for 3 kinds of things. One is a large umbrella conclave, which is a cultural festival like most universities, institutions do. They give it some name. But it should be combined with saying, there's a new technologies are there. Every year you should do the conclave should include an introduction of new technologies and where they are headed now. Every year we should do, I think. Maybe philosophy you should have. I'm saying you should have a large umbrella conclave property, which goes very much with the style of liberal arts that Chanakya is imagining, I'm thinking. So I think you should create those properties here, every year, 1, 2, 3, you should do. And it brings the city here, it brings people from all over the world here. So I think that is something to try out. And there was another thing that I wanted to tell you. This new technology workshop that I said, what you do here, not with just technology, if you showcase examples that have been tried there, best practices. See, like there is that website called The Better India, for instance. It does it at a micro scale, some successful stories it does. But if you can do large phenomena of success, in district size area or a watershed that has been done well, I think to research that for your students is one thing. You must put it out in the public realm, and it should be called something like a Chanakya focus, achievement or whatever. You have to name it something. If you do that, I think it does this combination of beyond classroom, opportunistic research, very useful intervention possibly in society's great problems. See, I'll conclude by saying this: with climate change completely upon us and around us and getting tougher in the future, we will have all kinds of problems, and I think we should have a very large, significant space open for this kind of opportunistic learning and information dissemination. Thanks.
Okay, just thank you. Just very quickly for your point one about how the university should integrate and encourage interdisciplinary learning and real-world applications. I think a very good model would be, what we studied for the School of Creative Arts is basically the MIT Labs incubation programs. Because what happens with the incubation programs is that you incubate a program, it becomes a multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary approach where the students come together and they try to solve a problem in that way. Like for example, with the Performing Arts School, for the Creative Arts School, what we have thought of is that, of course, this will not apply to the other schools, but just to give you an example, is that incubate a multi-sensory a multi-sensory immersive theatrical play, so that would involve the musicians, that would also involve the theater artists, that would also involve the lighting people, it would involve the filmmaking students, and everybody together coming together and forced to work together to create one great product. So that would be that, and it could also add on a lot of industry experiences like the MIT Labs. The second point is that when it comes to point number 3, what comprehensive support services should the university provide for students' academic, emotional and mental health needs? I think here is where the career guidance counselor's role becomes extremely important, and for some reason in India that's not stressed enough. All the students that I did a lot of research with for the Creative Arts School is that most students have met their career guidance counselor only once during the 3 or 4 years that they were in college. And that is like a continuing trend with pretty much every college and university in India. Whereas it's the exact opposite in the universities, in the students that I spoke to in Europe and in USA, where the career guidance counselor is sort of like a friend and a mentor to the student, and it's a very important role where they almost consider that career guidance counselor to be like a father figure or an older brother figure. So I think that would be really important. And it should be like a sort of like a safe space for interactions between them. And this is just one of the points. There could be, of course, many more solutions. Lastly, about civic engagement among students to instill, civic responsibility. In my opinion, at least from personal experience, I've seen is that actually sensitization of the actual core issues of India can only happen through field visits. Because I've noticed that unless you actually visit and you travel the length and breadth of India, and in fact, Chancellor Sir, you'll know Kalyan is a very good example of that. Basically your teacher's son, and so the idea is like traveling, understanding, and sensitizing yourselves at the grassroots levels is where, because we people in cities usually live in bubbles and we don't understand what is going on in the rest of India. So I think it's important that there is sensitization through field visits and through actual sensitization programs, where you're actually living in these in different regions of India through, basically that. I hope you get the point. Yeah, that's all. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good point.
Last was 1 year back, and during this last 1 year I find lot of progress. So I am really very happy and very impressed the way the team is working day and night, because in between my people are coming and giving me report from month to month, week to week. So that is doing wonderfully well. Second thing is about the progress and the aims. Professor Dongre just presented the report. So I don't know whether he missed or I missed, because I'm a bit hard of hearing. And also I'm a slow speaker because of my Parkinson problem. So you will excuse me. Now, one point I found missing, whether I'm correct or not. That is about one of the aims, original aims, basic, is that we should provide education to the lower side people, say the poor community. You find diamond in the coal mines, so maybe very brilliant boy or girl you find in the villages, rural area, in poor families and all that. And even if whatever is there, but it is our primary duty to help the community where poor people cannot afford to provide education to their children. Otherwise, what is the difference between this university and the other universities who are minting money? That is considered as industry. That is also good. At least so many students are coming out with their talents and helping prosperity of the country. My idea is that honorable members of the council should have in mind always that we should not ignore the poor families, poor students who are brilliant, who are very intelligent, but remains ignored. Nobody bothers because they don't have money. They don't have anything to support. So scholarship scheme, just a few minutes back while we were during the campus, my nephew Sajan gave an idea that scholarship scheme, if introduced very well planned, I can arrange so many people to subscribe. And if 10% or even 5% of the students, 100, 200, 400, are supported like this, we will be doing a wonder. So this is very important, we should never forget, and then only persons like me will come forward for everything. Second point is also which was originally decided, but I didn't find in the report, about research, education, providing faculty for in nature cure, nature's beauties, nature's creation, nature's science. Wonderful you will find. I will give you an example. In nature cure there are many fields, but one field in which I am involved and I know, I did research and innovation, developed many things, is nature cure, naturopathy. So in that incurable diseases are being cured. It is not just word of mouth, it is certain. Even cancer patients at stage 3 have been cured. And there are many examples. My own example is there. I had abdomen tuberculosis when I was a college student in 1956 in Calcutta. So that was incurable those days because this streptomycin and all that came later. So the doctors declared that there is no cure. with the help of nature cure and yoga, I got a new lease of life. And not only that, I got firm beliefs, unshakable faith in nature cure and yoga, and decided at that point of time that whenever I am provided opportunity by God Himself, I will establish a nature cure and yoga center combined. So God has heard my prayer. So this, if you people are interested, that is in Bangalore only, are most welcome to our nature cure center, where we will show you and discuss with our doctors and experts what achievement has been made, what innovation. Because seeing is believing. Otherwise you may not believe, some of you. Anyway, so these 2 points I request Dongreji to please take care in future. So I wish the university a very great future, fast progress and prosperity. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, sir. Already scholarship scheme, I think Professor Dongre sir has already presented, sir. We have scholarship scheme at Chanakya University, and there are centers of excellence, but these centers of excellence, definitely I think university will look into that, sir. There are many centers of excellence, but this one, sustainability center of excellence, already it is in the process, sir, and this will also be added, sir. It is a great suggestion, and thank you very much, sir. I think one more in teaching, holistic learning. I think we received the input from almost all 4, but the second effective teaching methods for holistic learning, I think one is as a part of the university being a comprehensive university, various departments, engineering, management, psychology, all those. So how to achieve the holistic, what kind of combination of courses or a team teaching, I think any input, I think Professor Madhavan is known for that. I think, sir, that will be useful for everybody.
I think this is first of all a very important way by which this university can differentiate from the other universities, because as it has been mentioned just now, that universities have today, for whatever reasons, has become a manufacturing unit for getting people for a job. So what I call it as inputs for living. But I think in this holistic learning process that we need to design in this university, we should clearly understand there is inputs for living and inputs for life. Both has to come. We have to very consciously build it into our thinking of the curriculum. The inputs for living is much easier. You find what skills people will be recruiting today, you try to put a couple of people and then teach them a little bit and so on. I think if we layer that with inputs for life as a methodology, and I think very good ideas have already come. Inputs for life comes only by an unstructured, accidental mechanisms. I think in many of the courses we must be able to integrate that. In IAM Trichy, I remember, there was a few years back, I think probably when you were there, it was made compulsory that there was a course called Make a Difference. Is that right?
Yeah,
you were there at the time?
Yes.
So all the 250 students must step out into the society. So that very experience of going through the society and trying to understand, even if they understand what the issue is, the learning becomes a lot more holistic. So I think we can think of Seva as a very important element of our curriculum, and structure it, but then leave it open. Structure it because we need a certain structure, but then provide enough space for it. I think if possible, we should be able to offer courses. We have great talents here. Live with a guru for we do it in IAM Bangalore. We have 8 days in December, 10 days in December. A faculty can take some 20 students and go to a Gurukulam in Madhya Pradesh, sit with the artist for 10 days and come back and write up a report and submit. So we can think of many such methodologies of how do we make their thinking not linear, make it non-linear and little open, and I think that such methods are very important, and if we can structure it and give that kind of a freedom. But I only emphasize that inputs for life is very important as inputs for living. With that layer, if we can put it, the holistic becomes a reality, and this university will differentiate. The products that come out of this university will definitely make a difference. I just only want to quote from Vishnu Purana. It says, Ya Vidya Sa Vimuktaye. This thing is for liberation. Make them. Today we have Ya Vidya Sa Niyuktaye. Just for some job we do some teaching. If we can just layer a little bit and bring it in a structured way, I'm sure we will be making a huge difference. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Yeah, I think Professor Patwardhan Kapoor Saab, if any inputs, please, sir. Yeah.
Thank you all. I was so happy to see the progress. I wanted to be there to see actual development on the campus also. But sometime soon, Sridharji, I will come. Today, I'm sorry I could not join. I just wanted to congratulate your faculty, especially for your success in publications. Because in VC's report, the numbers I saw of publications are really impressive. In such a short time, the university could do this. And I will send my detailed comments later. But at this stage, I thank you for allowing me to be with you virtually. And we will remain in touch. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. Kapil Kapoor ji, sir. Sir, you have to unmute.
Is that?
Yeah, it is fine, sir.
Again gone, I think. Is that okay now?
It is fine, sir.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Honorable Vice Chancellor and Sir chairing the session, and the university, all the officers and administrators who are very kind to allow me to join online. I am now 84. It's difficult to travel very much, but I'm very happy to be here, and I'm very impressed with both the report that the Honorable Vice Chancellor presented for the intervening period, and also the kind of infrastructure building which is going on, and which shows very clearly that you are planning for the future very carefully, and there is a lot of foresight, which is wonderful. I will restrict myself to your first question in this holistic education, that of how to integrate interdisciplinary and real world learning. And I think that is the first question that you have here into a holistic learning program. Wonderful things have already been said. I'll go a little away. Universities are islands, in the sense that I was in a Haryana rural girls' university, and like all universities, we speak the same language. All these disciplinary formations that we have. The medium is English, and the vocabulary is of success and of package, and the jargon of creativity and excellence and all this. So this is very common all over India. We hear these words. But when you stepped out of that university, crossed the road, and sat on the shop outside, your language and your vocabulary became irrelevant, because it was not shared by the common people. But the language we speak in the university to teach, the vocabulary of thought, for example, even this the word liberal, the vocabulary of thought that we have it's not, it is asymmetrical. With the asymmetrical, with the what we asymmetrical with the ground, with the masses, the rural, we have a kind of a tacit kind of a feeling that the educated people, English educated people, are superior, and the rural people who don't know, they are, to be educated and they have to be developed, and unka hame uddhar karna hai. We are the redeemers, which is not at all true. If one experiences the rural India, and if one listens to the old rural women or watches them, we find that the old rural women are a knowledge resource, quite richer than what our young educated girls are. So my suggestion for a real world application is of the universities that we should try to connect with our environment. So wonderful ideas are there, we can travel all over, but then we should connect with our environment, the rural environment. We should pick up a few villages, we should pick up a few Anganwadis, and we should go to the bad, poorly funded schools, and we should interact with them and see what the university can do with the people outside this, what is the university confine. There is recently I was in a university in Lucknow, which to my great surprise had adopted 10 village schools, and had also adopted 10 Anganwadis, which are for the very poor boys and girls, particularly girls. They are run by women. Generally, the teachers are women. And that university had part of its engagement was to support them in various ways. Gather books, bringing them to the university for short-term programs, and also bringing the wise old people from those places to the university to talk to the university people and the university students. So interaction with the environment and trying to speak the language that they speak, trying to understand is a very broad, everybody knows this. We talk about, we give our students the ambition to succeed. And, they go home and, particularly if they are village boys and girls, they go home and they talk, they've done this, they are going to do this, they are going to do this. The poor mother will generally say, well, very fine, do all that, but at least for the moment, sit peacefully. You see, be at rest. So this is one suggestion, that we should establish an interaction. We should see to it that our university is not an island, urban island. And our thought system is not only kind of wired to the Anglo-American world. You see, our education is not Eurocentric. We say Eurocentric, but it is not really Eurocentric. It is Anglo-American centric. It was British first. After the war, it became American. So we should not be wired to that, and it should be reflected. Not being wired to that, but maybe being wired to South Asia or being wired to your own countryside. So we should see what we can do in the content of our courses and other things. How we can integrate this. You see, at present, in all this law and public policy, governance and all these, kindly examine your curriculum and syllabuses. I think most of the readings, they all come from the West. and they are all in English medium mostly. It will be a good exercise. I'm not sure. I'm sure you may be doing much better. So please forgive me if what I'm saying is not applicable to your good, great university. But I wonder how many books in Kannadiga or in law, for example, how much of the Hindu law, the terms and Hindu law is a long pedigree, Niti. How many Kannadiga books written in Kannada are also part of your reading list, or they are only English? So I think the system by very nature is alienated system. So real world application connectivity is actually is needed badly.
Thank you, sir. I think thank you very much your input, sir. I think just one or two Chanakya University is, as you told Lucknow example, there is a Unnat Bharat Abhiyan scheme. Government of India, IIT Delhi coordinates, and Chanakya University is also adopting some villages as a part of that. It is a part of most of the great universities adopt, and they learn, and the student faculty exchange, and students go there. They understand the key issues of that. That is already is a part of, it is going to be there as a part of Chanakya University. And as long as this our NEP 2020, sir, this is the first university founded on NEP 2020, I think, and even Ministry of Education, there is a department, language and Sanskrit. So all the professional courses, books are translated into local languages. It is a ministry, in the ministry, Chammu Shastriji is heading that, and it is already in the process. And all professional, whether it is management, engineering, law, converted into local languages. That is also a part of NEP. It is being done, sir. So thank you very much, sir, for your input. Great input.
Aware of NEP, very much aware of NEP. I'm talking of the condition situation now.
Right.
And talking of what will happen 5 years from now or 4 years from now. But for example, in JNU, we were able to, in 1977, I introduced courses in Indian grammatical tradition, Indian philosophical tradition, started teaching English text way back in 77. But these things, the books getting translated and all that, I'm asking whether your reading list has any component of Indian text. If it has, fine. If it doesn't have, please explore. Please explore. And secondly, it's not only going to the villages, our boys and all that, we have to bring them also to us.
Right.
To us, you see. And the knowledge that they have, their problems are very different. Law, for example, that we have here, and what about no lawyer in India, in High Court or in the Supreme Court, no lawyer argues on the basis of Indian law. Hindu text, Hindu principles of testimony, Hindu principles of evidence or something. Nobody. Why? You see, I'm not speaking of judges. No lawyer does that. So it all begins with what we teach.
Sure, sir, we will take that input, sir.